Please video like and subscribe this channel. I left Earth because I was tired of noise. Not just the sound, though there was plenty of that, but the constant pressure. The endless competition, the wars fought in distant systems, the politics, the expectations. Every day felt like standing in the middle of a crowded station where everyone was shouting orders and no one was listening. When the Terran Colonial Authority announced a resettlement program on a quiet, newly integrated planet at the edge of known space, I signed up without hesitation. The planet was called Elthara 9. Low population. Stable climate. No active conflicts. Mostly agricultural, with small mixed-species communities. The brochure promised peaceful coexistence and a slower pace of life. That was all I wanted. The shuttle ride down through Elthara 9's atmosphere was smooth, the sky a soft gradient of lavender and gold. Forests stretched endlessly below, broken only by winding rivers and clusters of pale stone structures grown, not built, into the landscape. The settlement I was assigned to was small, quiet, and almost eerily calm. Perfect. My new home was a modest dwelling at the edge of the settlement, a single-level structure with curved walls and a translucent roof that filtered the planet's twin suns into a warm, constant glow. No traffic. No alarms. No screaming news feeds. Just wind, distant birds, and the soft hum of alien technology keeping the environment stable. For the first time in years, I slept without nightmares. The first few days were blissfully uneventful. I unpacked, set up my small hydroponic unit, and took long walks along the paths that wound through bioluminescent grasses. The locals were polite but distant, mostly Elthari, a graceful alien species with subtle color-shifting skin and elongated eyes. They nodded when passing, exchanged brief greetings, but didn't linger. Exactly what I wanted. Then I noticed my neighbors. They lived in the adjacent dwelling, separated from mine by a narrow garden strip filled with glowing flowers. At first, I only caught glimpses, movement behind the translucent walls, silhouettes passing by. All female, as far as I could tell. Elthari women, tall and elegant, their skin shimmering softly as they moved. I thought nothing of it. Until the watching started. It began subtly. When I stepped outside in the morning, I felt eyes on me. When I worked in my garden, adjusting nutrient levels, I noticed figures pausing on their side, pretending to tend plants while clearly observing me. Once or twice, I looked up and caught one of them staring openly, her eyes widening slightly before she turned away. I told myself it was curiosity. Humans were rare on Elthara 9. Of course they'd be interested. Still, it made me uneasy. The first direct interaction happened a week after my arrival. I was returning from the settlement's supply hub when one of them approached me near the path. She was taller than me, her skin a soft teal that rippled faintly with lighter patterns. Her eyes were a deep silver, reflective and unreadable. "You are the human," she said, not as a question. "I am," I replied, offering a polite smile. "Name's Aaron." She studied me for a long moment, head tilted slightly. "You live alone?" "Yes." Another pause. "That is unusual." I shrugged. "That's kind of the point." Her skin shifted color, an Elthari sign of interest, as I would later learn. "We have been discussing you." That made my smile falter. "Discussing me?" "Yes," she said calmly. "Your habits. Your routines. Your expressions." I laughed awkwardly. "That sounds intense." She didn't laugh. Instead, she leaned closer, examining my face as if I were a puzzle. "You do not carry aggression. Or hunger for status. Why did you leave your world?" I hesitated, then answered honestly. "I wanted peace." Her eyes flickered with something like surprise. "Peace," she repeated softly. Then she stepped back. "My name is Salith. We will speak again." And with that, she turned and walked away, leaving me standing there, unsettled. After that, things escalated quickly. The women next door began finding reasons to interact with me. Casual greetings turned into questions. Questions turned into long conversations that seemed to happen whenever I stepped outside. If I sat on my porch, someone would pass by. If I worked late in my garden, lights would flick on in their dwelling, and silhouettes would appear near the windows. One evening, I found 3 of them waiting at my door. They stood in a loose semicircle, their skin glowing faintly in the twilight. Salith was there, along with 2 others, Mireia, whose skin shimmered gold when she smiled, and Thessa, whose darker hues suggested caution and intelligence. "We wish to observe a human meal," Salith said. I blinked. "Observe? Yes. You consume differently. Your rituals are personal." I considered refusing. I really did. But loneliness has a way of lowering defenses, and part of me was curious too. "Fine," I said. "But it's not very exciting." They followed me inside, their eyes taking in every detail of my home. As I prepared a simple meal, they watched closely, asking questions about flavors, textures, memories associated with food. When I ate, they observed my expressions, the way my posture relaxed. "This," Mireia said softly, "is intimacy." I nearly choked. "It's just dinner." "To you," Thessa replied. "Not to us." That was when I realized something important. I hadn't just moved next to alien women. I had moved next to a species whose social boundaries were very different from mine. On Elthara 9, privacy was rare. Emotional openness was valued. Observing someone closely wasn't invasive, it was respectful. To them, my quiet, withdrawn nature wasn't normal. It was fascinating. Over the following weeks, their interest deepened. They brought gifts, woven fabrics, glowing plants, small crafted objects meant to balance energy. They asked about Earth, about human relationships, about love. Especially about love. Why do humans pair for life? Salith asked one night as we sat beneath the twin suns. "Not all do," I replied. "But some of us like the idea of choosing one person." She considered this. "Choice," she said. "That is rare among us." That was when the truth came out. Elthari society, I learned, was structured around communal bonds. Partnerships were fluid, dictated by compatibility cycles and collective harmony. Individual choice existed, but it was secondary to societal balance. A lone human, choosing isolation by choice, was something they had never seen before. "You confuse us," Mireia admitted. "And because you confuse us, we cannot ignore you." Their attention became the talk of the settlement. Other Elthari watched from a distance. Some were amused. Others were wary. A human influencing local social dynamics was unprecedented. And then came the night everything changed. I woke to a soft glow filling my room. At first, I thought it was morning, but when I sat up, I saw Salith standing near my door, her skin glowing brighter than I'd ever seen. "There is a problem," she said. I rubbed my eyes. "What kind of problem?" "You must choose," she replied. That got my full attention. "Choose what?" "Stay," she said simply. "Or leave." I stared at her. I already chose. "I came here to live quietly." She shook her head. "Your presence has altered us. The others, they wish to bond with you. Not as a curiosity, as a constant." My heart pounded. I didn't mean to cause trouble. "I know," she said softly. "That is why this matters. If I stayed, I would become part of their social fabric deeply, permanently. If I left, things would return to normal." Peace, I realized, was no longer simple. I spent the next day walking the settlement, thinking. I had come here to escape connection, not create it. But somewhere along the way, the alien women next door had reminded me of something I'd forgotten. Peace wasn't just quiet. It was belonging. That evening, I stood in the garden between our homes. Salith, Mireia, and Thessa waited silently. "I won't promise to be what you expect," I said. "I'm human. I'm flawed. I need space." Salith stepped forward. "And we will learn." I exhaled slowly. "Then I'll stay." Their skin lit up in a cascade of colors so bright it took my breath away. Life on Elthara 9 didn't become loud. It didn't become chaotic. It became shared. Mornings with conversations instead of silence. Evenings filled with questions and laughter. I still had peace, but now it was layered with connection. I had left Earth for peace. The alien women next door had other plans. And somehow, they were better ones.